guys, I didn't see you there. I totally did, but just, you know, just feels good brushing this beard, getting all nice and thick. Got my little silverback going on. Anyway, that's not the topic of today's video. So do you guys remember that video I did a while ago on the Tattersalls Club in Brisbane? It's basically a club that's been going on for 150 years, male members only. It was built by men, it was founded by men, it was maintained by men. Everything was done, created, and continued by men. Anyway, some stupid feminist decided that it was sexist that there were no female members to this club, even though there's no male members to Curves Fitness Club, even though there's no members to Fernwood Women's Fitness Club, even though there's no members to Lyceum, which is a business networking event for women exclusively. But hey, that's none of my business, right? My point is, Anastasia Palaszczuk, the Queensland Labor Premier, this leftist feminist spastic, decided that she wasn't going to let any of the members of her parliament be members of the Tattersalls Club while it did not accept female members. And you can imagine the balls of some of the members being grabbed and twisted by the wives as part of this process. But by a very slim margin, a motion passed to allow female members, because clearly these old school dudes that have run the club for the last 150 years have no idea what happens when you relinquish control of your own club that you built, that you paid for. You just say, oh, now that we've done all the hard work, here, sign up as a member, $22 a year, whatever it is, right? And it was an expensive membership. It's not like it's a cheap membership and people missing out on, you know, free meals for $22, right? This shit's expensive. And on the news, on the mainstream media, they were saying, oh, you know, this is misogynistic, you know, excluding women. And, oh, you know, how can a club that excludes half the population be a sustainable business model? I'll tell you how, because men have got the money, because they work more hours than women. They work in harder jobs. They work in more dangerous jobs than women, and they get paid accordingly. It's as simple as that. Speaking of Anastasia Palaszczuk and men working more dangerous jobs, the real topic of today's video is the mining industry and some bullshit that went down. So we know that men make up the majority of workplace deaths, and there's been yet another one. Check this out. Just give me a moment before I read this one, because this kind of pissed me off when I read this. Advisory committee was dissolved over gender quota as 6th miner dies. And I don't mean a 13-year-old. I mean someone who digs and, you know, goes underground. You know, one of those dangerous jobs that you get paid good money for that most women don't want to do, and therefore they don't get paid as much. They'd rather work in the office shuffling paperwork, you know, or drive a truck that drives itself. And yeah, look, there's some women in the construction industry that work hard. I'm not going to deny that, but it's mostly men. On that note, let's get into it. A mining advisory committee dissolved 6 months ago because the Queensland government was unable to make gender requirements has been reformed as the industry reels from its 6th death in 12 months. Mine operator Golding Contractors ceased operations at its Baralaba North coal mine after a 27-year-old experienced mining operator was killed early on Sunday. A meeting to improve safety was called on Monday between key stakeholders after the death. The second in a fortnight. Second death in 2 weeks. And the 6th in a horror year for the industry. Queensland Mines Minister Anthony Lynham said the re-established advisory committee would meet within days and, wait for it, gender representation had to be respected. Feminism is about equality. No, it's fucking not. Feminists are retarded. Because of the significance of the appointments, that has been difficult, he said. So basically, because of how important and how much responsibility will be bestowed on the people, on whoever it is that takes up these roles, they're finding it incredibly difficult to get a woman to do it. That's what they're basically saying. It is Palaszczuk government policy, Palaszczuk being Anastasia Palaszczuk, the feminist Labour Premier of Queensland, who demanded that women be allowed to become members of the 150-year-old Tattersalls Club that was up until she kicked up a stink and had to cry about it, men only. It is Palaszczuk government policy to have gender equity on all government boards by 2020. We have the toughest mine health and safety legislation in the nation. I expect full compliance with unions and the industry, he said. Queensland Resources Council Chief Executive Ian McFarlane said the QRC had nominated 2 women for the committee 6 months ago. I'm not sure why that committee hasn't been operating, he said. Because the women you nominated didn't want to do the job because it was too much work, it was too much stress, it was too many hours, and they probably didn't have the knowledge in the industry. Because, surprise fucking surprise, most women don't want to be miners. Mr. McFarlane said the industry was working on a safety reset and the meeting would help establish what happened, the programs being run and how they could be improved. No death on a mine site is unacceptable, Mr. McFarlane said. Well, that's the one thing I can agree on with this cock. Every miner who goes to work does a safety induction course before they start. Does that have something in it about safeguarding the feelings of women? I bet it does. We will need to see if that process is sufficient and we need to establish what more can be done. What more can be done? Let's get more women to do the induction. The toll is in stark contrast to the previous financial year when one Queensland mine worker was killed. Last month, the death of Mackay's father, David Routledge, killed when a mining wall collapsed onto his machine, sent shockwaves within the industry. Dr. Lynham said there were 84 inspectors throughout Queensland, more than the previous year. Now, I've actually got an interesting story for you about safety inspectors. You know how many people I had contact me after I did that video about 50-50 gender representation in the construction industry that feminists were arguing for? Telling me about female work health and safety officers coming onto the site and demanding all of these things be done because, you know, I'm the expert here. I've done a 2-day course in work health and safety experts. Your 15 years in the construction industry doesn't mean shit compared to what I know, because vagina. Like, any guy who's gone and done a work health and safety course for 2 days and then gone on to a construction site, who's speaking to a foreman who's got 15-20 years experience on site, he's not going to sit there and boss the foreman around, right? He's going to talk to the foreman and go, hey, look, you know, what's the reason for this not being covered up? Well, this is the reason, and it's actually more dangerous this way. Okay, that makes sense. Well, can I suggest we put these contingencies into place just to improve the safety? But, you know, I agree with the way that you're doing things. That's how a man would do it. Women are like, no, you have to cover that up. You have to do it, right? And they just demand and boss people around. And look, women who actually know what they're doing get taken seriously. Women who don't know what they're doing don't get taken seriously. It's not sexism. We're not targeting them because they have a vagina. We're just simply saying, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm not going to listen to you. And we'll say the same thing to any dude who rocks up who has no clue what he's talking about and tries to boss us around. Trust me, I know, I'm a dude. And for those of you who are asking, including Portuguese MGTOW, says, sup, my dude, man, how are you? I'm really asking, how are you, my Sydney dude, man? I am doing just great, thank you, Portuguese. I appreciate you, man. LNP, which is the Liberal National Party, which is the opposition to the Labour Party, Deb Frecklington called for an independent parliamentary select committee to investigate. It's crucial Queensland learns lessons from these tragedies to ensure our mines are safe, she said. I agree. Let me tell you a lesson that I learned from 6 miners dying in 12 months because they didn't have 50-50 gender representation. Your penis and your vagina has no place in the discussion about workplace safety. Period. So all you feminists that think it has something, that think it's important to have more women in this committee, get the fuck out of here. I don't give a shit what you have to say because you are stupid. Right? And you need to rip all that crap that got taught to you at university while you're doing your fucking 5-year-long barista course out of your head. And in case you're wondering what I mean by barista course, I'm talking about gender studies. Mr. McFarlane said he was saddened by the recent incidents, which I equally am. I think it's complete bullshit that this has happened. Our thoughts are with each miner's family, friends, and the local community at this difficult time, he said. Well, my thoughts are with them as well. Because, you know, you can't bring those men back by meeting 50-50 gender quotas. You can't bring the father of the children who lost their dad back with 50-50 gender representation. All you can do is just pay a bunch of women more to do something that they're not capable of doing because they don't have the experience in the industry, because they didn't want to be a fucking miner in the first place. They wanted to be a childcare worker or a marketing assistant or some shit like that. So that's what they went and studied. And while they were studying, they got taught that they were oppressed because they've got a vagina. Even though in the 18 to 30 range, women have way more university degrees, get paid more than men, and have way more opportunities and way less discrimination against them. But hey, that's none of my business. I'm just a straight white fucking male. So what would I know, right? You guys know what I know, but they don't. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. I'm looking for, oh yeah, that's a good point, Arvero. Good to see you, by the way, Arvero and Dynamite. I'm sorry I'm not shouting all you guys out. I got 145 of you in the stream, and I love all of you. I appreciate all of you. No homo. And guess who is going to get insurance money from the death? The mothers and the families. Yes, correct. Let's hope they don't spend it all before their kids get old enough to get an inheritance. Anyway, guys, please share this with anyone you know in the construction, the mining industry, in any industry where they have to work in unsafe conditions. And just share it with all guys so they know the feminist fuckery that's going on in the world. Right? And share it with some feminists who think they know better about this stuff, even when they've been through nothing that a man's been through. So guys, please share this video, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed and you're enjoying this content, smash the subscribe button below and the bell next to it, just like Kate Mulvey smashed the wall. And when you smash that bell, it's gonna come up with none, all, or the default option. Make sure you click on the bell and select the all option, right? Make sure you do that. Otherwise, you won't get all the notifications. And if you haven't been getting all of my notifications, go and check that you have the all button checked. You may have the bell smashed, but it might not be the all bell. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Like, subscribe, comment, share. And on top of that, if you do want to donate, paypal.me/SydneyMGTOW, patreon.com/SydneyMGTOW, and subscribe.com/SydneyMGTOW. Thank you so much for being good guys. Thank you so much for being gentlemen. Thank you so much for being brothers in this together with me. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.